In an era where the limits of the internal combustion engine were being written in melted steel and shattered valves, one man dared to remove the valves entirely. This is the story of Sir Roy Fedden, the engineering radical who replaced the rhythmic mechanical action of poppet valves with a silent, sliding sleeve of steel. A gamble that would define the power of the Royal Air Force and push piston engine technology to its absolute zenith. To understand the magnitude of Fedden's engineering leap, one must first examine the inherent limitations of the standard valvetrain during the 1920s and 30s. High-performance aviation engines relied exclusively on the poppet valve architecture. In this system, a camshaft actuates a pushrod, which in turn pivots a rocker arm, forcing a steel valve downward into the combustion chamber against the heavy resistance of a high-tension spring. Operating continuously at wide-open throttle, this mechanical assembly inevitably reaches its physical limits. At high engine speeds, the inertia of the reciprocating mass induces valve float, a condition where the valve spring fails to close the port rapidly enough, disrupting the engine's mechanical timing. More critically, the poppet valve constitutes a severe thermal bottleneck, specifically on the exhaust stroke. Subjected to exhaust gas temperatures exceeding 800 degrees Celsius, the exhaust valve cannot efficiently dissipate heat. Its primary thermal pathway is highly restrictive, limited to a narrow valve guide and the brief, transient contact of the valve head against its seat. This localized heat accumulation creates a chronic hot spot within the cylinder head. In the high compression environment of an aircraft engine, these hot spots induce pre-ignition, an uncontrolled, premature detonation of the fuel-air charge capable of shattering pistons and destroying an engine in mid-flight. Sir A.H. Roy Fedden understood these limitations acutely. Following his integration into the Bristol Aeroplane Company in 1920, Fedden achieved immense commercial success with the Bristol Beaufighter, a conventional 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engine. The Beaufighter became one of the most widely utilised aviation power plants of its era. However, Fedden recognised that incrementally enlarging traditional overhead valve designs would soon yield diminishing returns. Increasing the number of cylinders and valves compounded the frontal area drag of the aircraft, whilst the complexities of routing cooling airflow over multi-row cylinder heads became a thermodynamic nightmare. To achieve higher power outputs, lower aerodynamic drag, and absolute mechanical reliability, Fedden concluded he must eliminate the pushrod and poppet valve assembly entirely. His solution was rooted in a concept patented in 1909, the Burt-McCollum single-sleeve valve. The mechanical architecture of the Burt-McCollum system is entirely distinct from standard valve trains. It replaces the complex array of cams, pushrods, rockers, and springs with a single precision-machined steel cylinder, known as the sleeve. This sleeve is situated concentrically between the outer cylinder barrel and the inner piston. The piston reciprocates normally within the sleeve, whilst the sleeve itself is driven by a ball-jointed crank and a gear train connected to the engine's main crankshaft. Crucially, the sleeve does not merely slide vertically. It executes a continuous elliptical motion, simultaneously rotating and reciprocating within the cylinder block. Machined into the upper portion of this sleeve are precisely calculated ports. Corresponding intake and exhaust ports are cast directly into the outer cylinder barrel. As the sleeve traces its elliptical path, its ports align with those in the cylinder wall at exact intervals during the 4-stroke cycle, regulating the induction of the fuel charge and the expulsion of exhaust gases. From a fluid dynamics perspective, this configuration is vastly superior. It removes the physical obstruction of a conventional valve head from the intake tract, yielding exceptionally high volumetric efficiency. The combustion chamber profile becomes completely hemispherical and structurally uniform. Most importantly, the exhaust valve hotspot is entirely eradicated. Heat from the combustion process is transferred uniformly through the broad surface area of the steel sleeve directly to the finned aluminium cylinder barrel. This superior thermal dissipation allowed Fedden's engines to tolerate significantly higher compression ratios and operate safely on lower octane fuels without encountering pre-ignition. Furthermore, the continuous elliptical motion of the sleeve ensures an unbroken distribution of lubricating oil, virtually eliminating cylinder bore wear. Whilst the theoretical advantages of the sleeve valve mechanism were indisputable, the practical application presented a severe metallurgical and manufacturing challenge. In 1927, when Fedden initiated the development program at Bristol, the required materials science simply did not exist. The fundamental engineering problem was differential thermal expansion. The sleeve operated in an environment of extreme thermal stress and mechanical friction. If the steel sleeve expanded at a greater rate than the surrounding cylinder barrel, the mechanism would seize catastrophically. Conversely, if it expanded insufficiently, the clearance would widen, resulting in a loss of dynamic compression and uncontrolled oil consumption. Fedden's team endured over 5 years of relentless component failures. Early test iterations suffered from cracked sleeves, stripped driving gears, and seized pistons. The solution demanded absolute metallurgical uniformity and manufacturing tolerances unprecedented in the aviation industry. The breakthrough required the adoption of highly specific alloys. The outer cylinder barrels were cast from a light aluminium alloy to maximize heat dissipation. The sleeve itself was forged from a specialized high-expansion austenitic steel, engineered so its thermal expansion rate closely matched that of the aluminium block. To withstand the constant friction of the piston rings on its inner bore and the cylinder wall on its outer surface, the sleeve required extreme surface hardness. Bristol engineers implemented a precise nitriding process. They exposed the machined steel sleeves to ammonia gas at elevated temperatures, diffusing nitrogen directly into the crystalline structure of the metal. This produced a surface hardness capable of enduring thousands of hours of continuous operation under immense load. The manufacturing precision demanded by Fedden was staggering. The sleeve had to maintain perfect concentricity, with wall thicknesses machined and honed to tolerances of 0.0001 of an inch. To achieve this, the Bristol Aeroplane Company was forced to design and manufacture bespoke grinding machinery, effectively transforming their factory from a standard engineering works into a laboratory of high-precision mass production. By 1932, Fedden had successfully run the first single-cylinder test engines, proving the absolute viability of the nitrided steel sleeve and aluminium cylinder combination. He had bypassed the thermal constraints of the internal combustion engine, not by bolting on external cooling systems, but by fundamentally redesigning the mechanical architecture of the cylinder itself. This painstaking research laid the critical groundwork. The resulting technology was now ready to be scaled into the massive, multi-role radial configurations that would soon power the heavy bombers and strike aircraft of the coming war. By the mid-1930s, Sir Roy Fedden had proven that the single sleeve valve could withstand the punishing thermal and mechanical environment of an aviation cylinder. However, a single cylinder test bed is a mere proof of concept. As European rearmament accelerated, the British Air Ministry issued specifications for heavier, faster bombers and heavily armed interceptors. These aeroplanes required power outputs that a single-row, 9-cylinder radial could not physically deliver without expanding its frontal area to aerodynamically unacceptable dimensions. Fedden's solution was to stack the cylinders. He initiated the design of complex, twin-row radial engines, where a second bank of cylinders was positioned directly behind the first, slightly offset to ensure adequate cooling airflow to the rear cylinder heads. This structural shift necessitated a complete redesign of the engine's internal dynamics. The defining product of this era was the Bristol Hercules, a 14-cylinder, twin-row radial engine displacing 38.7 litres. Mechanically, the Hercules was a masterpiece of spatial packaging. The core of the engine was a forged steel crankshaft with 2 throws, offset by 180 degrees. Attached to each throw was a master and articulated connecting rod assembly. One primary master rod was directly mounted to the crankshaft journal, whilst the remaining 6 articulated rods for that row were pinned to the master rod's big end. Driving the sleeve valves in a twin-row configuration introduced a severe mechanical challenge. In a single-row radial, the sleeve drive gear train can be mounted relatively simply at the front of the engine. In a twin-row design, Fedden had to engineer a complex system of spur gears and cranklets driven from the front and rear of the crankshaft to synchronize the elliptical motion of all 14 steel sleeves simultaneously. The timing had to be absolutely rigid. Even a fractional degree of backlash in the gear train would disrupt the valve timing, severely compromising volumetric efficiency and power output. As the operational altitude of military aeroplanes increased, so did the necessity for forced induction. At 20,000 feet, the atmospheric pressure is less than half that at sea level, starving a naturally aspirated engine of oxygen. To compensate, the Hercules was equipped with a centrifugal supercharger, driven by a 2-speed epicyclic gear train connected to the rear of the crankshaft. It was here that the true thermodynamic supremacy of the sleeve valve system became apparent. When a supercharger forces a dense, highly pressurized fuel-air mixture into a cylinder, it drastically increases the combustion temperature. In a conventional poppet valve engine, this heightened pressure exacerbates the exhaust valve hot spot, strictly limiting the amount of boost pressure the engine can tolerate before catastrophic pre-ignition occurs. Because Fedden's sleeve valve design had eliminated this hot spot entirely, the Hercules could digest significantly higher supercharger boost pressures than its poppet valve contemporaries. The heat of the compressed charge was dissipated uniformly through the sleeve into the aluminium cylinder barrel. This permitted the Hercules to safely produce over 1,500 horsepower, and eventually up to 1,700 horsepower in later variants, whilst maintaining exceptional fuel economy and mechanical reliability. Fedden did not stop at 14 cylinders. Foreseeing the need for engines exceeding 2,000 horsepower, he scaled the architecture once more to create the Bristol Centurus. The Centurus was an 18-cylinder twin-row behemoth, displacing an immense 53.6 litres. The thermal management of the Centurus pushed air cooling technology to its absolute limit. Pushing over 2,500 horsepower, the heat rejection required from the cylinder heads was staggering. Fedden's team redesigned the cylinder barrels, machining deeper, more closely spaced cooling fins to maximize the surface area exposed to the slipstream. Furthermore, they engineered complex internal baffles within the engine cowling to force high-velocity air precisely between the cylinder rows, ensuring the rear bank did not overheat under continuous high-power operation. The ultimate test of Fedden's design was not merely in the laboratory, but on the factory floor. The impending outbreak of the Second World War demanded production on an unprecedented scale. The British government instituted the shadow factory scheme, decentralising aircraft production to widespread, purpose-built manufacturing centres to protect them from aerial bombardment. The challenge was monumental: how to mass-produce the most complex, high-tolerance piston engine in the world using a workforce primarily composed of semi-skilled or unskilled labour. The Bristol sleeve valve engine required manufacturing tolerances of 0.0001 of an inch. The nitrided steel sleeves had to be ground to perfect concentricity, and the aluminium cylinder barrels honed to match with absolute precision. Fedden's solution was rigorous standardization and the deployment of bespoke, single-purpose machine tools. Rather than relying on the manual skill of master craftsmen, Bristol engineers designed highly automated grinding and honing machines that locked the components into rigid jigs. The precision was engineered into the machine itself, rather than relying on the operator. This allowed vast workforces, many of whom were women entering the industrial sector for the first time, to produce components of exacting metallurgical standards. The logistical operation was an overwhelming success. Over 57,400 Hercules engines and thousands of Centaurus engines were produced, powering critical aircraft such as the Handley Page Halifax bomber, the Bristol Beaufighter, and the Hawker Tempest. They proved incredibly resilient in combat, devoid of the vulnerable external valve springs and pushrods that often failed under enemy fire in conventional engines. However, the relentless pursuit of engineering perfection came at a high personal cost. Sir Roy Fedden was notoriously uncompromising, a trait that frequently placed him in direct conflict with the Bristol Board of Directors over research and development budgets. In 1942, at the height of the war, this friction reached a breaking point, resulting in Fedden's abrupt dismissal from the company he had transformed into a global powerhouse. Fedden left Bristol just as the first operational jet engines, championed by Frank Whittle, were beginning to run. The internal combustion piston engine, hampered by the aerodynamic drag of its propellers and the absolute limits of mechanical reciprocation, would soon be eclipsed by the gas turbine. Yet, in the final desperate years of piston engine supremacy, Sir Roy Fedden's single-sleeve valve stood as a triumph of mechanical engineering. It was a solution born of uncompromising metallurgical research and a refusal to accept the thermal limitations of the era, resulting in the most sophisticated piston aero engines the world had ever seen.